Happy birthday to the Say Hey Kid himself. Willie Mays turns 89 years old today, one of the best players in Major League Baseball history. So I wanted to start off the video with a bang. We have so much to talk about today. Some breaking news from Bryce Harper. It all came from the Starting Nine podcast, so make sure you guys go watch it. I will leave it in the description down below. Bryce Harper opened up about being traded to the Astros back in 2018, and also the fact that he wanted to go back to the Nationals, but the Nationals kind of ruined it. Also, Francisco Lindor might not be going back to the Indians, and then we also have some updates on when baseball could be coming back, like full-fledged baseball. I'm not talking about the KBO, I'm not talking about spring training, actual Major League Baseball games in their own stadium. So make sure you guys leave a like on this video if you're excited for baseball to come back. We're trying to get to 200,000 subs before opening day, so 200K before opening day. Make sure you guys slap that subscribe button. But I guess the first thing that we're going to talk about is the Bryce Harper story. So actually, there's a lot to unpack, so we're going to kind of go by the bullet points. So the first thing I want to say is shout out to Starting Nine. They were able to get all of the juicy details from Bryce Harper. Now, this is with Dallas Braden and Jared Carabis, so make sure you guys, if you're really bored during quarantine, go watch this entire podcast. It is in the description down below. But I'm going to go ahead and say that there's some things you might want to go ahead and listen to. So I'm going to play them real quick, and then we're going to talk about it in just a second.
I wish they would have came out to me and been like, hey, we're going to give you a chance to go. If we sign you back next year, awesome. But at least we got 4 prospects for you, and we're going to be really good. But that's what I wanted. The whole offseason, guys. And for real, I sat there with my wife and said, babe, we're going back. I'm going back to DC. I've been fine with that. If they wanted to defer a little bit in the front 3 or 4 years, I would have been fine. Scott didn't have any problem with me wanting to go back to DC. And so when they offered me what they did with the deferred money, I was kind of like, well, crap, man. Now what? Right. Now I'm going to look terrible. I'm going to look like a bad person. If you can't tip your cap as a player, right, then you're you don't deserve to watch him play or to watch him hit, or Juan Soto the way he did it, or Rendon or Trey. They did a great job performing, and they had a 1-2-3 punch and 4 with Annabelle, where it was dude, they did it. They put it together. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't be happier for those guys, the way they did it and the way they went about it, be with the family that I am. So I think that's one big conception right now, that everybody's he's so jealous. He can't, he's punching air right now because those guys won it. And it's no, I'm not, it's awesome for them as an organization and for them as a team and those players as individuals. I couldn't be happier.
He told his wife that we're going back. Now, the only thing is he wanted real money. I'm putting quotations around that because basically what he's saying is that he doesn't want the majority of it deferred. What did the Nationals do? They deferred $100 million of his contract. But even Bryce Harper said if they deferred a couple on the front years, maybe $10, $15 million the first couple seasons, he would be okay with that. But the fact that they deferred $100 million is a lot of money to not get straight up. So that's why Bryce Harper ended up going to the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, he also talked about how he was happy for the Nationals. A lot of people were saying that Bryce Harper was swinging at the air and he was upset that his old team won the chip, but apparently he's not upset. Now, I will say, as big of a Bryce Harper fan that I am, I'm pretty sure that Bryce Harper is just trying to be the good guy and say that, yeah, he's happy for his friends, but I'm pretty sure deep down he is still a little bit jealous because he spent his entire career with that club. They offered him a bad contract and then they win the World Series. I know for one, if I was Bryce Harper, I would be a little bit salty as well. But the one thing that I do want to talk about as well is Bryce Harper also opened up. Now, I can't find the clip, but I will leave the quote, or I'll try my best to find the quote. Bryce Harper was almost traded to 3 different teams in 2018. So not only was he wanting to go back to the Nationals, but before he actually signed that contract, he told the Nationals, okay guys, here's what's going to happen. You should trade me for prospects and then I'm going to re-sign after I compete with that club. There was 3 teams that were in on him. The Cleveland Indians, which sucks because I'm an Indians fan. It would have been awesome to go up against the Astros. We got swept, so I don't think it would have mattered, but it was the Cleveland Indians, the Oakland Athletics. I think that would have looked awesome. Harper in that green and gold would have looked so sick. And then last but not least, there was a deal agreed upon by the Astros. The Astros were going to acquire Bryce Harper in exchange for some prospects, but then the Nationals general management said, nope, we're going to pull out. We're not going to make this happen. And hindsight is 2020. Bryce Harper signs with the Phillies, and they got absolutely nothing for him. So in his heart of hearts, Bryce Harper was ready to go back to DC, and if not through a contract, like a contract extension in 2018, he was willing to get dealt for some prospects so the Nationals could get better with talent and then go back for a 2019 and beyond season. Now, I do want to also throw out there that Houston came in with a big-time offer in the free agency market. Also, the Dodgers, they came in with a really high AAV. That just means he was probably going to get paid $30 to $35 million a year, but it was only 4 seasons. So Bryce Harper wanted the stability. He didn't want people saying like, Bryce Harper's going to go to the Yankees next year. Do you think in 2023 when the contract is up, is he going to go to the Dodgers or the Indians or whatever? He didn't want that. He just wanted to play baseball. So I guess I got to tip my cap to him. And also, again, remember, go click on the link in the description down below once this video is over, because the Starting 9 podcast, they get all of the juicy details. But it makes me think to myself, if Bryce Harper was okay with being traded and then coming back, and then also giving some credence to what the Yankees did with the Aroldis Chapman, they traded Chapman. The Cubs got a World Series, but the Yankees also got Gleyber Torres and then re-signed Aroldis Chapman. So maybe that happens with Mookie Betts. They traded him to the Dodgers, they got some prospects, and then they're going to re-sign Mookie after this 2020 season. So let me know what you guys think of that proposition. Now, one thing I do have to say is this really does suck. So my entire 2019-2020 offseason mindset is the Indians, we're clearing house. We're getting rid of all of our dead money and just pointless money with Jason Kipnis. We cleared the deck with Corey Kluber. We are freeing up all the money possible to re-sign Francisco Lindor. But now the tables have turned. Francisco Lindor is not entertaining any offers from the Indians. Even though the owner of the Indians, James Dolan's brother, is offering a contract and not being cheap for once in his life, which, thank the Lord, is finally something that we can say as an Indians fan, is our owner is not being cheap. He is willing to dish out the money. We've waited too long. The Corey Kluber trade probably doesn't help out Francisco Lindor's case. Like, he's thinking, what are we doing as an organization? So he is now playing hardball. He wants all the money that he can get, because I'm sure after seeing Garrett Cole and Anthony Rendon get their money, he's probably north of $400 million at this point. He's worth it, in my opinion, because he's got the charisma, he's got the talent, he's got everything that you need. But it's weird that the Indians are willing to shell out money, both for Francisco Lindor and to pay their employees until July 1st without them working. So the Indians aren't being cheap, which is crazy to say. But even then, Francisco Lindor doesn't want to commit, and he has every right to do so. So it's just a really sad time. I mean, you get Corey Kluber traded for some cool players, and then that one player, Emmanuel Clase, gets banned for 80 games, and now Francisco Lindor doesn't want to sign. And on top of that, we missed out on Bryce Harper in 2018. So just a great time to be alive if you're an Indians fan. But speaking of the Indians, reports have come out that the reason why that July 1st period, so they're paying employees up until July 1st. Why is July 1st a big time sort of topic? Because Trevor Plouffe a couple days ago tweeted out that baseball is coming back that day. Full-fledged Major League Baseball in Major League Baseball parks. It's coming back July 1st. They should be starting spring training around the mid-half mark of June. I think June 3rd was the date that I saw. They would have a 3-week spring training, and then baseball, the season would commence.
Cleveland Indians yesterday among them that have been telling players, get ready. Now, it's not get ready with a specific date in mind. You know, June 10th has been mentioned for the beginning of spring training. That's probably the earliest. July 1st has been mentioned as a day for opening day, potentially.
So that would make sense. It coincides with what the Indians said about paying their employees. It coincides with what Trevor Plouffe said. So I have to believe that baseball is coming back pretty soon. Now, the one caveat to that is the corona cases continue to rise and rise and rise. I can't remember which state had 1,000+ cases confirmed today, which is not good. So I want you guys to let me know in the comment section down below. What do you make so far of the Bryce Harper news, the Francisco Lindor playing hardball, and also baseball coming back July 1st? Do you think that we're ready for it, or do you think that we're rushing? Because if the NBA isn't back by now, I don't know how MLB is going to start. And last but not least, I guess baseball is already technically back. We have some highlights from the KBO League. Let me know, are you going for the Twins? Which KBO team is your favorite? And also, this day in Major League Baseball history, 9 years ago, Chris Davis became the first positional player in 40 years to record a win, striking out Adrian Gonzalez. So really fun video. I'm super happy that I was able to bring you guys some actual news today with some substance, because sometimes it's really hard to squeeze all of the juice out of that lemon if there's really nothing to squeeze. But today, a lot of juicy stuff. Thank you to Starting Nine for providing some content, and yeah, enjoy the clip of Chris Davis being a pitcher. See you guys.
0-2. Gonzalez strikes out. Gives you an idea of how things are going for Adrian today. McDonald to short. This could do it. Second for one, on to first. That's it. The Orioles come into Fenway Park and sweep the Red Sox.